Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Carling Currie Cup, and we are watching two sides here in the Western Province and the Sharks that theoretically looking at the teams shouldn't be the bottom of the table, but they are. And this season, one of them may be the team that does get themselves demoted. At the moment, this was the way that the game and the table sat before that Boland match, as Boland now have moved themselves into first place. They're ahead of the Pumas. They have been on an absolute tear, just like my voice is sounding like at the moment. A few All Black supporters in the stands by the looks of it. Of course, a couple of big matches of the Rugby Championship coming up in the near future. But the Sharks and the Western Province, their points differential in both accords are not looking great. And they also only have that 1 point on the overall standings. So I'll definitely want to build into this match. Get themselves a big win. At the end of the day, someone has to move up the table for this contest. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Sharks, they have finished playing their cricket, but they still do not have the URC players in there. It is going to be Gunyane in the number 1 jersey, Van Wyk at 2, and Musibuko starting in as the number 3, Kotze Leroux as the 4, alongside Dean Slabbert at 5, Maveseri, Klikane, and also Hatton as the number 8. Quite the cricketer from all accord, but now has to become quite the rugby player in that 8 jersey for the Sharks, as they need a big game here. They just need to turn around their season. Perhaps this could be the game that they're able to do that. Everson will be the starting 9 alongside John Smith at 10, Potkaita in the midfield alongside Apollos, and then Yako Williams, Sabale, and also Kunini starting in as the number 15. Now, I think there may have been... Oh, no, we're all good. I was going to say there might have been a last change, but I do see that Yako Williams was down twice on my other team sheet that I have, but the Western Province, it will be Kosi Loff as the front row alongside Ntubeni and Portine in the number 3 jersey, Groves and Porter in the locking duo with Paul de Villiers, Riley Norton, and also Lonell slotting in as the 8. Ngobeni gets the start at 9 with Kyle Smith at 10, Berger, Marcus Cupero, Jared Africa, and Tristan Lades at number 15. But in the chat, we have got there. Good morning, says No Mum. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Can't believe the Pumas lost after such a strong first half. You see, at the time that I woke up, the Pumas were ahead by, I think it was like maybe 10 or 8 points, somewhere around there. But they had the 26 on the board, and I didn't realise up until watching the last kind of couple minutes that once again, Borland were going to be able to get that comeback win. So, first win away from home for Borland too, which is a massive bonus for them. And all they need to do now is probably beat the Sharks, and then they should be absolutely fine. They should be in the playoff games. And there were 5,000 people at the Springbok practice, Bellar on Wednesday. Says I Lollipop, and also we've got their Borland Cavaliers 29 to the 26. From behind, Borland did it again, says Briston. The Sharks, says Bianca there, and Sharks are bad, says Zach. And also we have got there, good evening, how are you, Hamish? And what games are you doing tomorrow? So tomorrow's plan, or even today so much for us in New Zealand, I've got the Pacific Nations Cup game that I want to cover between Tonga and Samoa. So that will be happening at 4 a.m. South African time. So I'm not too sure how many of you guys will be getting up for that one. Then alongside that, we have got once again that hour build-up of the Rugby Championship match taking place between Australia and South Africa. And then a little bit of a break straight back into All Blacks versus Argentina. And then after that, I believe we've got a Currie Cup game on Monday morning, and then maybe a game of the Women's World Cup thrown in there as well. We have got their morning early start, waiting for the Women's World Cup opener, says Studs Race. Of course, that one taking place very soon. England taking on the US. Hi, Hamish and everyone. Let's go the Sharks. Says Lilia B. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Hope you're excited for your Sharks side. This is, to be honest, the best chance for the Sharks to get a win throughout this whole Carling Currie Cup. So they have to make the most of it, or else, you know, it's just, it would be a shame to go from defending champions. I know that this is something you don't want to hear, but of course to go from the top to the bottom in this scenario is not ideal. But hopefully they can do well. What change was Springboks made today? They did put Apalili Fasi in at number 15 due to an injury to Vili Leroux. So a little bit of a late change in that regard, but Fasi did play 15 in the first contest, so, you know, should go all right in that regard. Likes a high ball. Him and Tom Wright kicking battle from the back, perhaps. Waiting for the first Women's World Cup game. Says Novman there, and it's a battle with a wooden spoon. It's a battle of the relegation as well. You know, one of these two sides might end up getting dropped from the Carling Currie Cup. Yeah, I'm watching USA get smashed. Says Zach there. and also just had Steers for dinner. Is going to be a good night. Now, Steers is not the supermarket, is it? That's Checkers. I'm still starting to learn my South African places. So what is Steers? Is that like I would assume like a steakhouse or something like that? In South Africa, predicting a Damien De Lindy masterclass tomorrow. Yep, he's one of the guys that I did predict would do extremely well in this upcoming game, and hopefully he is able to do that. Alongside him, who else? I had also Malcolm Marks. I feel like he will need a big game from that 2 jersey. And then who's my third guy that I said was one to watch out for the box? I feel, oh no, Chisel and Colby, there you go. That's a nice easy one. You just stock standard feel like Colby will do well no matter what. But looking through at the upcoming games, the one that I was mentioning about that we are going to be doing is that Blue Bulls versus Griquas match. Currently less than the 5 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest between the Sharks and the Western Province. Now, there's a lot of work that needs to be done for both of these sides if they want to somehow make a bit of a late run for the title. In fact, it's slowly becoming mathematically more difficult day by day. 20 degrees temperature max for this contest, 14 degrees as the minimum. And then also, once again, this is the way that the table sits. So theoretically, the crazy part, right, is for one of these two sides to make a run at the playoffs, they actually need the Bulls to do just as badly as they've been doing and continue to do badly so that they can overtake them. But for now, that top four is getting that little bit more secure, definitely because Boland, they have managed to move up a little bit more on the table after their win over the Pumas. And then also, you know, the Griquas versus Blue Bulls game, that's going to become absolutely crucial for the overall standings. These are the recent fixtures as well for these two sides. We have got the what league is under Currie Cup, if relegated from the Currie Cup. I believe it's still another form of the Currie Cup. I'm not sure of the exact name, but if you win that, you do get promoted into the Currie Cup competition. We have got Estelle said, hi, buddy. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Hope you're excited for a massive weekend of international rugby as well as the NPC and Currie Cup as well. Do you think they'll let Marnie play ever again? Yep, Russie backs him. So if Russie is going to still see him as an option, he will get to play. I think, with the exception of that cut-out pass to Joseph Suali'i, and, you know, there were a couple errors here and there, but that literally epitomised or summed up the whole South African team throughout the last 60 minutes. Like, Marnie had a decent game for that first 20, and if they can just work out how to stop that momentum switch, you know, I can still see a way that they put him in. And we don't know how well Pollard will do, but you'd assume that he would be more composed. Springboks will play a slower game, and then that will leave them less susceptible to the counter-attack that we saw in match number 1. Hi, buddy. Says Estelle, and also we've got the Morena Kiwi lads Farnell Churchill. Says Nars, welcome in, go to the province, make the Sharks all, I don't know what that means, but I'm not going to read it just in case. Stairs is a popular burger joint. I go to for takeaway burgers, says Justin. Well, hopefully they are good burgers. If I ever make myself, or make my way to South Africa, I'll definitely have to try the best local fast food, and also the best local braai as well, of course, is one. Looking good, Hamish. Have you trimmed your beard or mustache? I did last week, but it hasn't really grown back yet. So I'm still trying to get there, but it's chilling on sleep mode at the moment, I guess you could say, as it's quite cold. Are you doing any of the Women's World Cup, Hamish? I want to, but it's also so tricky because the final overlaps with the last game of the Rugby Championship. So I've been set up from the get-go. I'm trying to convince my mum that it would be a fantastic idea for her to get up at like 5 a.m. to cover that game, but that's taking a lot of convincing because it's on at 5 a.m. or somewhere around there. But I do want to do some of it. Like the most likely first round game that I'll be doing would be Spain versus New Zealand. Now, I did have a dream that they played a game of sevens and New Zealand won 140-0. But that won't happen in the Union game, or at least I hope it doesn't, or else that would be quite bad for the Spanish. Never thought Sharks versus Western Province Western Province will be relegated. Yeah, see, they just, like, I know that the URC is where the preparation is, and those players needed a break, but, you know, these guys who are out there at the moment for these teams have pretty much been set up for failure because the other sides are looking pretty stacked in this URC competition, but just about to kick off here, the Western Province. They'll be going from right to left. That was a fast 10 minutes. I just pretty much kept on talking non-stop for the full time. in a very talkative mood, which is great for this weekend because we got a lot of talking. All little short kickoff attempt there from the Western Province. And instead, the Sharks have managed to get themselves that ball, but a bit of a sneaky play there from Province right at the get-go. Hamish, when you have time, Google how a King Steers burger looks like. I think it might be the best beef burger, just expensive, unfortunately, says Xander. You dream about rugby well. That shouldn't come as a surprise, though. We talk about it enough throughout a weekend. And it just, my mum once told me that I was on the phone at like 6 a.m. talking rugby, and I realised that I was dreaming and commentating at the same time. So no wonder my voice never quite recovers. It's because I'm constantly chatting away. I'm taking the Sharks again today, roulette balls. I don't know where they're going to land, says Studs Race. That's the thing. Every once in a while, we actually see the Sharks do not too badly. The problem is they haven't been able to do that for 80 minutes as of yet. And the game that they almost managed to sneak up against the Cheetahs, they were just one big moment short of being able to finish the job ball and win again. Says Thomas, they're unbelievable this season. The fact that they were the side that were added into the Currie Cup and now keep on beating the regulars, that's going to be the penalty going the way of the Sharks. This was something in the breakdown against the Western Province, commentating in your dreams. Says Xander, and also JP was a brilliant player. But as a coach, no good. Sorry, JP says unbiased. We have got there, record your in-sleep commentary and the post. I couldn't do that. I don't know how it would go. But it must have been coherent enough that she thought I was on the phone, because she was like, why are you on the phone at 6 a.m. in your bed? I was like, I wasn't, unfortunately. How far is the stadium? How full is the stadium? I don't think I'll hear anything. I'd say maybe, I want to say 1,000 people, but that might be optimistic. There's certainly a lot of spare seats. If anyone wants to head on down for this contest, when the Springboks going to New Zealand, they are going to be leaving, I believe, next week. So they have a little bit of time on New Zealand shores before those two matches up against the All Blacks, the two most anticipated games of the year so far. Although there's a lot of anticipation around the second matchup up against the Wallabies. See what type of redemption story the South Africans can create. But now Everson on the short side. Little kick was attempted by John Smith, who does get wrestled down. Everson sliding backwards. It's a bit slippery out there at the moment. Harris come clean. Who did you phone 6 a.m.? No, well, she thought that I was phoning one of my old friends who sometimes I'll go on Xbox with, because he's a sucker for a random call at a random hour of the night. I don't normally answer because normally I'm asleep, but if anyone was going to randomly call me just to pretty much ask what I'm doing at 3 a.m., that would be him. So she just thought I was talking to him about the rugby. And go the Wallabies, you good thing. Not good weather forecasted for Cape Town tomorrow. Going to be a tight game, and the bot game plan will be crucial. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like that game, there's so much that the Springboks did well in that first 20 minutes, and there's so much that they did wrong in the next 60. So I think if they can even just turn it into a 40-minute performance as a bit of progress, like they should do fine. But this Wallaby side, I think some have underestimated them a little bit in terms of how strong that counter-attack can be. As we saw time and time again, just finding a way through, scoring themselves tries. That's a big push there from the Western Province. We're going off to the right-hand side here for the Sharks, 45 metres out from the try line. It's quiet here on the city outskirts. Everyone wants to chill on the couch. That's fair enough. It's been a busy few weeks. All pick and go from Hatton. Trying to make that decision of what way to go. It looks like they will go right for Liam van Wyk. Can't wait for the box to arrive. Going to be awesome. And also, it's my husband's birthday today. I baked him a cake yesterday. Well, hopefully he does enjoy that cake and has a happy birthday. If he is a fan of the Women's Rugby World Cup, I'm sure that he'll be very happy with the amount that will be coming up. Oh, and you hear Michaela Brake is pregnant? I did not. So what does that mean? She'd have to stop playing, right? Is that how it would work? Because I don't actually know when the women's NRL season goes to. Or has it already finished? But yeah, I'd assume that she'd have to stop physical contact in the sporting sense. Oh, little short throw from Scudder into Benny. Finds the hands of Paul de Villiers. Now Western Province, 5 minutes into the game. I've just remembered I'm the scoreboard updater. So I better update the score. She only played a few games, says Novmum. And out for the season, says Naz Williams. That'll be an interesting one. I assume that, it's a massive congratulations to her, but I assume that the Warriors are probably slightly annoyed that they signed a player and it wasn't because of injury that she ended up having to stop playing. Now sitting about 45 metres out from the line. Looks like Ngobeni going to be rolling this one back and instead does sides to go to the left. Low pass to Paul de Villiers. Pops it back on the inside to Tristan Lades, who tries to step. Couple more passes. Ngobeni going through. Finds another one and getting close to the try line. Klakane will be the man who drags him down. Congratulations to Michaela. She was starting to switch on there. Says Studs Race. Yeah, by all accounts, she's been going pretty well this season for the Warriors. Cobus Eloff, the big man from the Rebels. Initially, anyway. Well, last club. She's going well too, considering first time up, says Naz Williams. Another low tackle made by Putkaita. Name I still don't quite get right. Now attack and run forward from Kyle Smith. It's a battle of the Smiths in the number 10 jersey, and there's no Mornay anywhere to be seen. Off to the left, 10 metres out from the line, Western Province. They have done more of the defending throughout this half, but now getting their first real attacking chance. They put together 12 phases in a row. She was going well. I wonder if she gets maternity leave. Yeah, I don't really know how it works, to be honest. But I'm sure there'll be some sort of arrangement that's going to be held up there. Western Province, 10 metres out from the line by the Sharks, and they will manage to work the scrum. But that is well done by the Sharks because that looked quite dangerous from this Western Province team. And Western Province, best opportunity early. Maybe luck will change sometime. Lack of staff is the issue. Says Jonathan, yeah, it does seem to be at the moment, these two sides, their overall season, that was an ugly shot on Hatton as well by his teammate Mavisiri, who created the rolling maul chance, but it looks like Hatton's half out to it. His eyes don't look like they're completely there after taking that shot. Like they've just said, Tristan Lades, it was always going to be hard for him to win a rolling maul battle when most other players can hold him up quite easily. Maybe ran into it a little bit too steeply too. Sitting 5 metres out from the line at the moment for the Sharks. You know, Hannon's still kind of doing a little bit of the looking around with his eyes. Is there a Springbok on the field anywhere? Klakane was in the Springboks training squad. That's about as close as we get at the moment. Future Springboks perhaps too. But other than that, I have to say we're a little bit light in terms of the numbers. The Sevens Springboks guys, the likes of a Tristan Lades, he's in there. Now off to the right-hand side, Western Province have managed to get the ball back, but it's a knock-on now. And it looks like now the Sharks will get themselves the scrum yet again. But Western Province's scrum does look like the stronger at this point in time. So I would not be surprised if they keep on going to that if they can. 8.5 minutes still in the contest. No tries being scored as of yet. Okay, a little bit of a conversation happening there between Gary Porter and the referee. Tristan Lades is no Dylan Lades. Says, I lollipop. Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Definitely when you share a last name with someone who's very good. I feel like that's happened a few times, actually. I mean, Smith. Who is the best Smith in history? Ladies and gents, for South Africa, do let me know. Because there's been a lot of them. Like I mentioned, you've got Mornay. Or you've got... Who else? Who else you got? Kyle Smith comes to mind, but that's because he's playing 10 in this game. Oh no, it was Mornay Smith, wasn't it? And then you've also got Mornay Stain, all close to the line there. Hatton. Sitting just a couple metres out from their own try line. This is going to be trouble here. Everson decides to leave it for the forwards to try and make a couple more metres. Western Province looking too strong. Says Kevin there. Now being told to use it. Back into the pocket. Oh, a lot of pressure on Smith there. That is John Smith. Does get the ball into touch, but trying to clear their lines, slowly work up the field here, the Sharks, but they've spent the last maybe 5 minutes or so inside. Juan Smith. Says Bruce there. Now, I'm waiting to see whether or not Western Province are going to do some sort of set piece with their backline here. There is a player way out on the wing, and Tristan Lades looks like he's playing about maybe second last receiver. So this could be going wide if they can get this ball out, but it is a bouncer one, and Western Province knocked it on first. The Sharks knocked it on second. Referee says, oh, well, we'll just keep on going. So the Sharks have got the ball 22 metres out from the line. Good evening / morning, Hamish. Welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. And yeah, big weekend coming up. Women's World Cup starting too. Currie Cup, all sorts going on in the world of rugby. It's going to feel weird next week though, because the only international games will be that Pacific Nations Cup. Outside of that, it is just Carling Currie Cup and NPC. And also, of course, the Women's World Cup International for the men's that was. We have there most of the main Sharks players with the box. This, I think, is being used to bring that youths. Says Tiger, it is, but sadly for them, they may get demoted from the Carling Currie Cup. You know, even those guys who aren't with the squad now are training with the URC team. So you've kind of lost the likes of the Hendrickson brothers. They were also playing cricket. Western Province need to score first for once in this tournament, really to avoid a total near disaster in this tournament. Says Jonathan, yeah, I think both of these sides, no matter what, need to try and get at least 1 or 2 points from this outing, whether or not it's for 4 tries, but at the moment that hasn't happened just yet with 12 minutes and no tries currently on the board. Looks like Scudder into Benny will throw this one back in, overthrown line out again though, and that means that it will be taken by Mazibuko and the Sharks get it back. We must double down tomorrow and not kick a single ball, not even for a line out. Tap kicks only. I should be coach, says Cool Story. Well, I don't know whether that will be the tactic because they have got Pollard back at 10. So I actually think we'll see a bit more kicking than we saw last week because Pollard, you know, that combination with Grant Williams, I think Williams will be the running option and Pollard will just be either distributing or kicking downfield. Mr. Calling, says Lilia B, for a Cool Story. But now, oh, that looked like a little knock on the ground from Haddon as well, but we are letting all of those slide in the last 5 minutes or so. Now backline movement. Smith gets it off to Klikane. Goes for the no-look offload. Finds Yako Williams. Back towards Kunini. Then Mavesiri. Driven down in a big shot. I still think the great Nasbotha Smith was the best, says Kevin. It's probably a fair shout. Oh, that's an awkward neck bend for Klikane. He is all right. Get him back up to his feet. He's an absolutely huge unit of an individual, and he will definitely be in that Springbok contention in a few years' time. Tristan Lay's knocking that ball on. No, referee is just... The ref might actually not care about knock-ons here. Cross kick, though, from the Sharks. Awkward bouncing ball picked up by Yako Williams. Went on the inside to his teammate, who dropped the ball backwards, back into the hands of Williams, and he will score the try. I think they'll check this just to make sure it wasn't classed as a forward pass. But the mistake from Yako Williams' teammate that then perfectly popped the ball back into Yako Williams' hands. It's like he passed the ball into a wall just to have it rebound back to him. Kicking is fine, dropping the ball or throwing silly passes, possibly worth avoiding. I agree. I think it was just those little mistakes. Yeah, that is a big mistake from, I believe it was the inside centre for the Sharks, but they are going to be checking this by the sounds of it. Oh, yeah, good. The clapping. Oh, no, sorry, the waving from Cool Story. Oh, slamming down. Right, they are going to check this one with the TMO. See whether or not this is going to be classed as forward for off of... The sad thing is that's probably going to be called as forward. Because the ball has gone forward, and even though in that case Manus outran the ball, yeah, I think Putketa, that's going to be no try. In a conclusive replay forward, says I Lollipop. Yeah, something about it just almost didn't look right, and I think it was the fact that they did drop it, Putketa. But he ran the line as someone who was going to receive a pass, but then wasn't ready to receive a pass. So the Sharks, you know, they keep on shooting themselves in the foot. I don't think they got many toes left at this point with how many mistakes that they've made throughout the season. But it means that now after 14 minutes, we are sitting 0-0 in this match. I think this is no try. Says Jonathan there. Is my pommy lady Ruth in the house? I thought Ruth was South African, wasn't she? With a French boss? Or does she? Oh no, she might have a little bit of English in her. Yeah, she's not here at the moment, but she will be at some point throughout the weekend, I think. Well, there is a 37-year-old for Samoa making her Rugby World Cup debut. It's pretty cool. I feel like the Women's World Cup, we're going to see a lot of new players that on the international scene. Like sometimes we only get a few women's internationals shown here in New Zealand. But to have the whole World Cup there, it should be pretty awesome. I am slightly nervous if I do end up doing New Zealand versus Spain because I do not know many of these Spanish players. Ouch, says Lilia B. Yeah, probably a bit harsh about the toes thing. But, they've done some big mistakes. Oh, big low chopping tackle. Now on the halfway line, Everson. He's got options to the right. Trying to get it out to Sabali to show off that pace. Oh, Everson. He's having a bit of a juggle of it beforehand and decides to kick it downfield. Now into the 22. Nicely taken by Tristan Lades. Sends this one downfield. That one's curling quite nicely. 50-22 on the cards, but just bounces steeply. Stops that opportunity. Now Kunini will run this one back. Ruth was here earlier. Says Lilia B, and it's another knock on from the Sharks. Oh no, there she is. Amish predictions here, please. I completely missed it. And then she said melted toasted cheese sandwich and coffee. So hopefully you are still here, Ruth. Melted, wait. That was and coffee, wasn't it? Rather than in coffee. Yeah, okay. With it rather than in it. People put soup, they have soup, and then they dip bread in it or toast. Could you do the same with coffee? I don't drink coffee, so I don't know what that would be like, but I've probably offended every coffee drinker now. And that was probably Ioan Hugo Smith. And also we've there played flanker mostly and sometimes number 8. Cheetahs and also in the Rugby World Cup 2007 winners squad. Here's Bruce. Currently 15 minutes through this contest. Some happy faces in the stands, but they will be even happier if they see some tries being scored. The only thing to dip in coffee is a rusk, a buttermilk rusk. Says Lollipop. Yeah, see, I've heard of people dipping the tea dipping like a biscuit, which is, I guess, a cookie, in their cups of hot beverages. And marshmallows. Do you put marshmallows in a coffee? I know people put a hot chocolate and then a couple marshmallows on it. Do you do the same with coffee? I am showing a real lack of coffee knowledge on this stream already. I don't think I've heard of someone putting marshmallows, but then it would make sense because it's the same and it's frothy. You put marshmallows in one, wouldn't you? Good evening, Rugby fans, says Jimbo. Hello, Jimbo, as we're talking about something completely non-rugby related and coffees. It looks like Zachary Portin just going to get himself a replacement jersey here. Feels like Western Province can pull it off. Is there no score yet? Sadly not. Jaco Williams almost had the try not too long ago, but from there it was disallowed. Yes to marshmallows. Okay, so wait, nope to marshmallows, says BWL. Is that, I guess it might be a little bit similar to depending on how the person likes their coffee, depends on what you put in it. We have got, hi Jimbo, says Bruce. And also if you see that Pommy Roof Teller, I said hi, says Kevin. I think if you stop calling her a Pommy, you'll have more of a chance with her, Kevin. We have there what games next week. Next week we've got the Currie Cup. We've got some of the Women's World Cup and also Pacific Nations Cup and probably NPC as well. We'll try and get George back. And hi Jimbo, how was your 400 kilometre trip? Says Lilia. And also I have them on top of my mocker. Says Jimbo, little chipping behind here from the Western Province. Beautifully taken by Jaco Williams, but there was the penalty advantage. That could have been try number 2 for Jaco. It is going to be disallowed. Western Province has multiple opportunities. Penalty here. Yeah, see, this is an easy 3 if they want it. And I actually think it wouldn't be about... they're kicking for the corner. So I guess they're going for the bonus point win rather than just the win here. Which is all well and good, but you have to get the tries. Both of these teams, they have been a little bit anticlimactic for the season, Bruce? And also still no score. These two teams probably have low confidence at this stage. I agree. I think that they probably aren't feeling their absolute best at the end of the day. They both have 1 point on the overall standings. No wins as of yet. And that relegation is looming for these two sides. Scudder into Benny, nicely thrown into the front. One in the hands of Alex Groves. Down by Western Province. I'm about to sneeze at one of the worst times because they are on attack. One moment, I'll quickly mute. We are good, hopefully. But 5 metres out from the line here for the Western Province. They're in a very good attacking position. Pick and go. So get that a little bit closer. Their phase play has been better out of these two sides for the first 10 or so minutes. We have got there long and tiring, but I'm an idiot dad who does whatever his daughters ask. That also makes you a good dad, though. In regards, and I'm sure they did appreciate it, even if they didn't tell you that they did. Kovas Eloff around the side. Another advantage here for the Western Province. This is a three-pointer if they really want it. What stadium is it? It is the normal stadium for the Sharks, Kings Park in Durban. But now backline movement. Oh, good driving tackle from Kuneni, sending Gino Capito backwards. Now, Jared Africa wrestled down. Bless you, and I don't do marshmallows in my coffee. But they have their place. So where is that place, Lilia? I guess like in like a cake or something. Well, no. I guess like, Rocky Road. You know that? Is that a New Zealand thing, a Rocky Road, or is that like a global thing? Pretty much it's like kind of like a fudge with marshmallows in it. We have got there Hamish the Rake. Scott Berger Sr. was fined heavily for not paying his taxes. Says Kevin, little chipper behind. Tristan Lades doesn't get the bounce of the ball. Yako Williams cleans it up. And we'll go back for another penalty. 15 phases in a row here for the Western Province again. A great dad, I'd say, says Lilia. Got a bet on Western Province, so they better win. Says BWL. They have looked all right so far in this match, though. So, there's a chance. But at the same time, they also have blown a couple try chances, which is what it can be said about both of these teams. Like I said, it is definitely going to be a lower scoring game than some of them. We've got there, hey, Hamish, not covering the Women's World Cup. See, the tricky part is, right, we covered the last Women's World Cup quite a bit. Me and Mum, I ended up doing a few of the games. But this year, the worst thing is the final overlaps with the last game of the Rugby Championship. So straight away, I am in a pickle. And, I will be doing hopefully at least one game a weekend, if not a couple more next week because of the slightly more lenient times because of no men's international rugby at night time. But yeah, it's going to be tricky with the schedule because a lot of the games sadly do overlap with either Rugby Championship or Currie Cup. Now, I do think that some would say to do the Women's World Cup over the Currie Cup, but at the same time, this competition, it's only got a little bit longer. So I think we'll probably end up finishing it off and then, jumping into that Women's World Cup, hopefully. Do you think Canada will take it? I think that Canada look pretty strong at the moment. And, yeah, I certainly wouldn't underestimate them. That ball's going to be dropped by Western Province. It's gone backwards. Will we play on yet again? The Sharks only 2 minutes out from the try line, or their own try line, I should say. And Samoas. That's a very good answer, to be fair. I do remember trying to make Samoas with the other Kiwi lads. We did it over a fire barrel, and it did not work because we kept on losing the marshmallows in the fire because they'd just fall off the stick. But eventually we got one right. A little bit of a relevant story that I randomly say at 5 a.m. now, getting closer to the line here. Western Province still going with this attack. Pick and go. That's got to be close to the try line, but again, just short for the Western Province, and that looked like a knock-on. The ball's on the line. It is a try here, but I think they'll check to see whether or not that got knocked on first. Next player who infringes should be sent to sent to Skullburger's fruit farm, says Kevin, and also Craig from St. Francis Bay, Eastern Cape and South River going back. Welcome back, Craig. Hope you're doing extremely well. And could have taken the 3, although they have turned it into a 7 now, as long as they don't take this try back. I think they will check it, though. At the end of the day, there was a little bit of something going on Okay, they are checking there. That looked like it was a knock-on from the Sharks initially. So this one might be all right. I love that we're talking about everything except the Sharks not winning. Since URC semi, says Jimbo. Well, that's going to hurt the Sharks ones a little bit. There, Jimbo, do you have a favourite between Samoa and Tonga? Tonga normally shows up well in these. They do normally go all right, and they're also at home, so I think that'll help them a little bit more. But the Samoan team don't look too bad. This has gone over. The conversion and the try does stand. Western Province now lead after 22 minutes. It is 7-0 in favour of Western Province. Western Province and Sharks both had a rough couple of matches, but the Sharks has historically struggled to take the Western Province. Says BWL. And also Sharks going to feast some Western carcass tonight, says Big Rick. And also we've got there another inconclusive one. Says Studs race an accidental offside. Western Province scrum half kicked the ball into a player ahead, and peanut butter and jam on toast in coffee. That's bold, Clayton, because some people are even peanut butter and jam. They're a bit against that, or can't really fully get into it. But then in the coffee, what type of coffee do you have, Clayton? Doesn't make it would make it soggy, wouldn't it? But then I guess jam's all right and peanut butter's all right in terms of sweetness, so it might not make make the coffee bitter, but then coffee is bitter, isn't it? I need to up my coffee knowledge. I think I'm going to have to go to somewhere that makes coffee, although do they make coffee in New Zealand? I don't think they do. I have to go overseas, find a coffee farm, and just ask 500,000 questions. That was for Lilia. Says Jimbo. And I also sent a link to watch the game. The link is Sky Sport 3 here in New Zealand, unfortunately. That is a paid subscription, though. There aren't really too many free options for this Carling Currie Cup, which is a massive shame. I always say that it should be free to air in South Africa. And now line out throw here for the Sharks with Liam Van Wyk. They are currently down by the 7 points. Are you going to sleep after the game? I am not. I'm going to be staying up right through till after the Pacific Nations Cup game between Samoa and Tonga, and then we'll be heading to bed at a random hour to then wake up a few hours, or maybe a little bit later than a few hours after, to watch and commentate the Rugby Championship. Dunking any bread product is living dangerously, says Jimbo. Yeah, see, I think you'd have to get the timing down, wouldn't you? It's a little bit similar to the ones who do dip a biscuit and some coffee. Big counter-ruck there from Paul de Villiers, and there was a knock-on from the Sharks, and the penalty, in fact, will go the way of the Western Province instead. Yeah, it would just be about timing. You know, turning a hard biscuit soft. And whatnot. But now kicking it to touch for Kyle Smith. So it might be a little bit of an injury to Gary Porter in the background. That one has found touch about 25 metres out from the line. Western Province will hopefully now open the floodgates, says Xander. See, because that's the thing. Even if they win this game, they probably do need that bonus point for 4 or more tries just to have a bit more chance in the overall Currie Cup season. So, yeah, I would say that's why they keep on turning down threes. Because they know that for their season to get back on track. Plus, with the fact that the Sharks, you know, they've been going all right. But I also do think that there is a chance of a couple more tries here if they're not careful. Is there any sport where a team can have its entire first team missing, injured, or an international camp and still have to play top tier? Probably not. Like, of course, some sides do have a little bit of depth, but then this is like the fact that there's so many players as well on that URC side of things, the likes of the Hendrickson brothers, who were playing cricket and then now are training with the URC side, so they are missing. Like, I guess the Sharks XV, like, I call them the NATAL Sharks. But this really is, like, they've got the knock on there at the back. Oh my goodness, he just smacked himself into the post when he tried to dive for the try line. I think he didn't quite know whereabouts he was. The situational awareness is down, and he looks like he is too. I don't think he enjoyed that pole. We have got there, yes, the sport is called the ANC. Hello, Hamish. I'm no longer going to be the name JT. Always a pleasure listening to your commentary. So you prefer to go by Fred now on the stream? So I can say whichever, of course. To get rid of the bitterness in coffee, add a pinch of salt. If you're smart enough to not put the sugar in, sugar bad. says Bruce. Yeah, just knocked on them from there. A little bit of a rainbow flick from Musibuko. The Western Province player just slams straight into the post and then has one movement to get that ball down. I think he might have here. From at least one angle, it looked kind of good. Yeah, oh, that's close. And then he gets held up. So it's whether or not there's half a touch on the ground first. Okay, the ball does touch the ground. Western Province will score themselves the try, and they will now be up 12-0. It's raining tomorrow where the Springboks are playing. Yeah, it doesn't look like the weather's that nice for Cape Town, unfortunately, but yeah, it'll be intriguing to see how that impacts the game plan of the two sides. Of course, Australia, they have been used to rainy games. As of late, that British and Irish Lions tour third game was an absolutely torrential downpour. Bulls, Sharks, Lions, and Western Province will stay in the 2026 Currie Cup. We'll be joined by top four of the South African Cup. It's a new format for 2026, thus there will be no relegation. Is that right? So that means that the Cheetahs, the Hriquas, and whatnot, by that format, they have to qualify again, even if they were to win the Carling Currie Cup, right? That seems a bit rough, to be honest, for those sides. Like, at the end of the day, we might see the Pumas miss out, or we could see the Cheetahs miss out if they have a couple bad games in that SA Cup. Can confirm, I'm in Cape Town and the weather is bad, says I Lollipop. Says I Lollipop. And now, ball is there for the Western Province. They're inside of their own 22, leading 14-0 after the 27 minutes in this match. It goes from bad to worse for the home fans of the Sharks. We have there Kevin a stand with you on that one. Now rolling this one back. Oh, managed to sell the dummy. Ungobeni might have just done his kneecap when he tried to kick that one downfield, but it's a very good clearing kick down towards the halfway line. Only the 2 tries for the Western Province. They will be chasing that bonus point, in which they will need 4 tries to be scored. Currently line out sitting 3 from 5 here for the Western Province. 100% for the Sharks with just their 2. Getting ready to throw this one in as Boland are the only team doing the best. Says Mohadin, yeah, they're doing brilliantly. Boland at the moment, they sit at the top, although the Cheetahs aren't doing too bad themselves. But for that 2026, does that mean that Boland, if they were, let's say, to win or get through to the semi-final, they still don't have a spot in next year's comp until they win their games in the SA Cup? Now going back across to the right-hand side, that one's going to be knocked backwards, or at least I thought it was from Sabale, but they're going to call it as a knock-on. Now ball is there for the Western Province. Did Boland win yesterday? They did. They managed to have a comeback victory and win 26 points to 29. So they have got their first away win. That makes them very dangerous heading into those semi-finals. And Gauteng has excellent weather, says Xander. You see, it's weird, isn't it? Because some regions are actually quite nice at the moment in South Africa weather-wise, but it seems to be wherever they're going to be playing rugby has that weather forecast to be rainy. I'm not sure what the weather's supposed to do at the Eden Park test as of yet, but hopefully that's not a game affected by rain and we get to see the best of both sides with less injuries as well, because currently both teams got quite a few. Ball's going to be fed in. Big push there from the Sharks against the feed. Almost managed to get the steal, but the Western Province getting that ball out. Now little chip in behind from Luke Smith, or in fact, sorry, Kyle Smith that time. Now big run from Sabale, hung on to it, gives it off to Haddon. Now about 35 metres from the line here, the Sharks with their best attacking chance of the whole half. They have to finish it off though, although you'd have to argue Yako Williams' non-successful try would have been right up there as well. Big run from Klikane, who managed to get his offload to Musibuko. Now Smith across Hatton. Short pop pass to Liam van Wyk. Little kick attempted in behind there. Oh, Tristan Legs, that is poor from the fullback. He gets the assist for the Sharks, and that will be the try. Lade puts his hand up and apologises to his teammate, as all he did there was kick the ball backwards to where a fullback normally would have been, but he was not there because he had kicked that one. But the Sharks, better build up, better try. And they want that better finish to the first half. It is Sabala who does score at the second Carling Currie Cup try. We'll see the replay now, which is one that I don't think, Tristan Lades, he was trying to kick it off the side of his boot into touch. I don't really know why, because it would have been counted as out on the full. I'm not sure why he didn't just decide to catch that one instead. And doesn't. Yeah, it turned into a very good assist for Tristan Lades there. And it's just a try that Sharks have really been gifted. If Lades gets hands on that ball and goes to ground or gets wrestled into touch, that's all good. But to do it in that fashion is just on Smith there. Maybe because he wasn't option down their territory. They're going to try. They've only had 50% line-out accuracy compared to the 100% of the Sharks XV. So Scudder and Tabini just having a bit of a conversation there with Elof, who you don't realise how big he is until you see him alongside some of these other big South African forwards. I know at the Rebels he was one of the bigger guys around. Oh, that was almost a mistake. But Paul de Villiers does very well to hang on to the short line out. Now, Ngobeni. Let's go to the left-hand side. Nice leg strength there from Gary Porter. It's stucking. It's stucking. Is that like, maybe it's supposed to be it's sticking or it's sucking? One of the two. Your connection jumpy. Oh, it's sticking, my connection. I see. It doesn't have the little bar up top. But maybe it was when I was adjusting the scoreboard. Is it? I think it's all right now, isn't it? Maybe I should get up and do some star jumps or something. See whether or not it freezes when I'm in the air. Is it the video or the audio? Because I know that in the audio, a couple of the videos for some reason have been crackling a little bit at times. So if it was the audio, then that's, yeah. And here my side also says Roger. Now set him 30 metres out from the line here, the Western Province. We'll just have to hopefully power through it and hope for the best. And that it doesn't do it too often. Sometimes when I play with the scoreboard, it can make it a little bit glitchy. Who missed the conversion? So missed conversion was Kyle Smith for the Western Province. Oh, knock on here from the Sharks first. Western Province will have themselves another scrum now. Audio and video, sadly. Is it still doing it, or is it not too bad now? Because, yeah, it still has the 3 bars, and it still says it's all fine and dandy for myself. The wide cutout pass attempted there from Kyle Smith. Just didn't quite work out. Tristan Lades manages to force the knock on. Okay, don't drive up, drive straight. 4 handling errors from the Sharks. A note fix itself looks like. Says BWL. And it's good now, says Lilia B. And also, okay, now says Mohadin. And both says Jimbo for audio and video. Oh, did it just try and do it there? I feel like I saw myself out of the corner of my eye. And it looked like I froze. But yeah, I think it's to do with the streaming software itself. Maybe. How's the game so far? Living up to expectations? I'll be honest, the expectations were a little bit low heading into this match, mainly because both sides have had a error-ridden season, I think is the best way of putting it. And this game has been a bit similar, but Western Province look like they're starting to find their feet a little bit. The Sharks seem like an underdog that could turn it around. That's very nicely done. Rolling maul. Know who missed the conversion for the Sharks? Says Bruce. No one. They've got 14. Oh, sorry, other way. Sorry, other man. John Smith. My apologies. Said the wrong Smith. Now, ready for the scrum again. Hamish, what have I missed? You missed a little bit of glitchiness and also a few knock-ons. Sad but true, low expectations, says Lilia. Yeah. But sometimes, I'm trying to think of a positive quote. When you have low expectations, anything more's a bonus. There you go. So, the Sharks have been poor this season, but if they play slightly well here, better, improvements and whatnot. According to South Africa Rugby Board, the full URC franchises are guaranteed Currie Cup status. Example, the Pumas won the Currie Cup in 2022, and they had to play in the South African Cup in 2023 to qualify for the Currie Cup. It's pretty rough, isn't it? But I guess it makes sense. They're protecting the franchises from getting kicked out. That one's going to be slightly over the touchline, only by about half a metre there. And that says Bruce. And now, nice kick from Everson. Now, 3.5 minutes remaining in this first half. Still the 9 points difference. Funny how your scores are way ahead of Google, says BWL, I should say. I think that is because I'm updating them by myself. So I'm in pretty much as it happens trying to update it mode. Mr. Positive, says Lilia. Yeah. I did also say that both sides were quite poor earlier on in terms of the quality of play this year. But the negative plus a positive, I can't remember science. Does that make a positive or a negative? I know that a positive and a positive make a negative, and a negative and a negative make a positive. I didn't do well in science. I actually did all right at plant biology. I was going to say I know my way around a plant, but that sounds a bit weird. But yeah, much better at the plant biology and the kind of astrology and whatnot than I was with the physics. Physics just wasn't my thing. 2.5 minutes remaining in this half. The physics of a scrum here is pretty much 900 kgs hitting 900 kgs, seeing who goes backwards. If Springboks lose tomorrow, where do they sit? It's interesting. They would sit possibly close to bottom of the table, depending on how Argentina go in their game. But if South Africa were to lose by 16 points, which shouldn't happen, but no one thought it would happen for the first time. But the thing is, if they were to lose by 16, it means that they would be 6th in the overall standings for World Rugby's rankings. And Australia would move up to 4th, which is just crazy. 2 games. And that would be all it took. But yeah, I don't see that happening. Opposites attract, I think, says Lilia B. So when it's 1-1, what does that do to it? So that's attractive. So so both would turn into a positive, I guess. Oh, that kick hasn't found touch from the Western Province. I'm glad we don't do actual fancy, scientific live streams, because that would hurt my brain. Do you know the hottest top of the sun is page 3? Says Kevin. Hottest top of the sun is page 3. I feel like I should get that one, but I'll be honest, Kevin, that one's gone straight over my head. I did read something about a player swap, which could be good, says BWL. Yeah, so Billy LaRue is out and Apalele Fasi comes in for the South Africans. Little cross kick attempted here from John Smith. Goes through the hands of Western Province, but an advantage already played for the Sharks. We will go back for yet again another penalty. I wasn't too good at history. Sorry, can't tell you that one. Opposites attract, then they repel. Yeah, because that's like when you have 2 magnets, isn't it? And you're trying to push them together with their wrong side. And they'll kind of try not to touch. Part of the suspects is a newspaper and topless models on page 3. See, I thought it might have been something along those lines. Like maybe it was where the the ones that are like, hi, I'm looking for a man. in the papers. I thought it might have been that section. Our paper doesn't have that section anymore that I know of. But now line out for the Sharks. When the Springboks last championship game on about the 3rd of October, I believe. It's the last time we get to see the Springboks play. It might actually be the 2nd of October for you guys in South Africa when Australia won the T20 versus South Africa last week. The Wallabies won the Test. South Africa won the ODI series. So if the cricket is anything to go by, maybe. Have they got any UFC fighters this weekend? Like is Cameron Salman or anyone like that fighting? To try and get one back in the MMA department. And now rolling ball here for the Sharks. They've been told to use it. That ball doesn't look like it's really coming out though. Kobus Eloff is all over it, but now he's been told to let go of it. I seem quite sad about that, says Lilia V. And now cross kick nicely taken. The Sharks score with Yako Williams. He has worked very hard to try and get himself the try. And now the Sharks are back into it. Heading into the second half. How long is he out for? I believe 4 weeks. So I think that actually takes him out for at least the first match up against New Zealand and potentially the second as well. So, like, New Zealand, they've got their fair share of injuries. South Africa the same. And these two sides at Eden Park look nothing like people would have anticipated them to, which is why when people wanted predictions about 3 months ago, I said we're going to have to wait, find out. Like, Peter Steph should be back from his concussion, but, you know, if anything happens there, he would be a massive loss. You know, Etzebeth, as bad as it would be, he could get injured in this game this weekend. We saw 4 guys down for South Africa last game, and Australia lost about 3 players too. So, you know, it could happen. Sharks were never out of it. Bibby says big rig, and that is a nice strike of the ball over the post. And at halftime, now the score will sit 12 points to 14. So what started as a slow burner has now kind of turned into quite the occasion. At halftime, already 4 tries have been scored, 2 for each. Do you think Pollard will play in New Zealand? I think so. I don't know whether they'll start him or whether they'll have him coming off the bench. I think it heavily is going to be determined by how he plays tomorrow and whether or not he can really do well. And it depends on that combination because I think that Grant Williams has done more than enough to start at 9. So the question is, would you rather have Grant Williams playing his best rugby with someone other than Pollard at 10? Or would you rather have Pollard playing his best rugby at 10 with a different 9? I feel like some people would say the Pollard one rather than the Williams one. Opposites attract, then they repel. That's in relationships, says Bruce there. Well, there you go. Is history good or bad? As in like the subject or just in general? The subject, I never really did history, but we had to do... What did we have to do? We had to do a bit of geography, which I think slightly coincided with it. In fact, history, I think, snuck into most subjects at school for us. I remember we had to once write a national anthem for Antarctica, which wasn't history related, but we had to learn like the history of Antarctica, and then we were supposed to do it in the theme or the tune of the New Zealand national anthem, but me and one of the other Kiwi lads, Isaac, wrote an Antarctica rap, which still passed because it was slightly good enough. They're trying to get me to get some facial oil at the moment. We got a lot of ads. There'll be a burger straight afterwards. I can almost guarantee it. Or pizza, one of those two. Sports Not Updated says Mohadin. Nah, it's a big ute actually. But looking through at the second half in terms of the benches for these two sides. Corne Raul, he already actually made his way onto the field for the Sharks due to a bit of an injury. They've got Bradley Davids, Marks and Bester as the back replacements. Then for the Western Province, Moose, they've got Ronald Brown there as the number 22 and Fenta slotting in at 23. I'm curious to see how Ronald Brown goes in this contest. He's a quick, snappy type of player in the 7 setup, but just the 2 points separating these two sides. These are the matches next week as we get near the end of the Currie Cup competition. The Sharks will be playing Boland. That's going to be a great game because this Boland side have now shown that they can win away from home, and that will bode very well for them in the near future. Also for the Western Province, they will be playing the Pumas. That game taking place straight afterwards. Now, I assume I'm going to be covering at least a couple of those games, depending on when the Women's World Cup games will be next weekend as well. I don't think anything else should overlap. The Pacific Nations Cup should all be during the day. We have the Ice Ice Baby, says Jimbo. That is the one. I am impressed with your memory, Jimbo. We have got there. Annie is trying to tune in. She's not here tonight. She told me on WhatsApp that her Wi-Fi is playing up, says Bruce. And also, how common is it to do the haka in New Zealand? Did you ever have to do it for any serious reason? I don't think I've ever had to do it. Our first 15 did it at school a couple times. I think it was actually when we had the Japanese exchange students from Takadaichiko High School. When they would arrive, they would do a haka at the start, the rugby players. But outside of that, not really. You don't really see it a huge amount. Like, of course, before games of rugby, though, like a lot of teams will have their hakas. In fact, the last time that I probably saw a haka locally would have been at a rugby game due to a player passing away, that they did it beforehand. We have to there because if it's good, I'm happy because Ruth wrote me a long letter saying since I called her a pommy lady, she says I am history, says Kevin there. And we have got there, she's a Western Province and a Stormers supporter too. I'm going to watch you at 4 a.m, says Mohandinha. We've got a big build-up for tomorrow's game. The Women's World Cup just about to start up as well, England versus USA. That game's going to be kicking off in only around 27 minutes' time. After that, 16 hours and 57 minutes' time, Australia taking on the Samoans. That will actually be a probably decent-ish game if Samoa can be competitive. But in terms of next weekend's game, Scotland-Fiji would be a decent one to cover at 1:45. England-Samoa, USA versus Australia. See, they all overlap, and it's very sad. The good news is the Monday morning games, New Zealand time, are New Zealand's games, but then they overlap with South Africa versus Italy. Or do they? Actually, daylight saving might be just around the corner for us here in New Zealand. I think Samoa versus Australia will be the most tasty game of Group A, at least on paper, says Big Rig. Yeah, it looks like the type of game that could have a little bit of something about it. Like New Zealand versus Spain, I'm very curious about. Because, some people are predicting New Zealand to win by big margins. Sharks are the point on me hard and local derby, says Dennis there. Yeah, at the moment they are well and truly in this contest, currently sitting just the 2 points down. They have scored twice, so the bonus point, like I said, could be on the cards for both of these sides heading into this match. That would be the ideal scenario anyway. England to put 100 on the USA. Yeah, see, that's the other side of things, isn't it? The fact that there are some games that could end up being extremely one-sided. Like, for the sake of the competition, I actually feel like we need to see USA be quite competitive in that game. Because if they aren't, it will just make people go, okay, England's going to win it, so we'll wait till the final or wait till the semi before they start watching it rather than watching the group stage matches, which hopefully will be some very entertaining rugby along the way. Most emotional series of hakas was the Lomu's tribute. Geez, brought tears to my eyes, even as a South African, says Roger. Yeah, that's the thing. The haka can bring out a little bit of passion from some people, and that's the thing. Most South Africans that we talk to say that they absolutely love to see it, and sadly we don't get to see it on South African soil this year, but we will get to for next season. I'm nervous about tomorrow night's game. I don't need another letdown, says Bruce. And also, I don't see that. I think it will be 48-6. Jeez, that's still quite brutal though, isn't it, for that score? Handling error, 5 from the Sharks in the first half. Penalties conceded, 5 against the Western Province compared to the 4 of the Shark side, but the missed tackles for the Western Province, they have missed 13 throughout that first 40 minutes. Possession and territory, both in favour of the Western Province as well. The Sharks have not hit more than 5 phases. We have got there, hi mate, I hope you are well. I am scared to follow this game. It's going to be unpredictable the second half, I would say, and if it's anything like that Bulland versus Pumas game, there could be a few curveballs along the way. Hello everyone, yes, Bruce is right. I'm a Western Province and Stormers fan, says Annie. And there as well, so it is good to see that your Wi-Fi is all sorted, ready to go for the second half. I should have mentioned we have already put out a preview of that Australia versus South Africa game, but I'm hoping to get a preview of New Zealand versus Argentina out in about 2 and a bit hours time. I would say is when that one will be edited by. I got it about half done last night. But second half of this contest getting very close. Currie Cup we are also going to be covering on the channel tomorrow. And 34-17 to the box tomorrow. Put your money on this score. Says Roger. 34. That's, to be fair, not a mile off what I said. I said once again 32-22. I feel like someone at some point is going to win by that margin that I've said. And that's actually probably a factual statement. So maybe my best bet for predictions, seeing as I'm so bad at them, is to just keep on backing a team to win 32-22 every game. And eventually someone will win by that margin. And that way, you know, I will eventually be right. There will just be about 1,000 games that I'm not right for. But then that's normal. I see Sharks getting 30. Says Big Rig Joe. Okay, so you're seeing a bonus point on the horizon for the Sharks. Honestly, I think you could be right. I think Western Province are close enough in this game that they too could get half a crack in there. Western Province need better goal line D. 16 inside of 22 for the Sharks. Hi, Annie. Says Lilia with the hug emoji. And there as well. And evening, Annie says Jimbo. And predicting score is a little dumb. Says I Lollipop. It is in a way because rugby's so unpredictable. But then if you don't give a prediction, then, you know, you get in trouble too. So it's just more of one that I squeeze in at the very end of the video for the ones who do somehow make it there. So busy reading the comments, didn't realise it's half-time, says Bruce. Yeah, half-time for another couple minutes or so. Springboks 60 points to 7. But the thing is as well, with a score prediction, you are literally setting yourself up to be wrong. And have people pretty much say, you know nothing about rugby because you got a prediction wrong that everyone else got wrong too. We have good there, if you could be, or if you, I could be laughing, or if you were me laughing at your prediction, says Regine. But yeah, like that's the thing. Last week, no one was predicting Australia to win by 16, but that's because theoretically they shouldn't have. You get the obnoxiously smug when you're correct entirely due to dumb luck, says Big Rig. Yeah, see, I haven't really been able to do that. I've been right with a score line, and sometimes you feel like for half a second, oh, maybe I know something, but then next game you just go right back to being wrong by 40, and people don't mention that one. You know, it's normally they'll let you know when they get it right, they won't let you know when they get it wrong, whereas we just embrace the fact that I'm terrible at predictions. If you're going to predict scores, you must put money on it. I don't think so. I think that putting money on it takes a lot of the fun out of the game. And we've had a chat about this on a Currie Cup halftime before, that in a way sports betting has kind of ruined rugby for a lot of people, because now if they bet on it, they can't just enjoy the game because they're constantly stressed about the bet that they've placed. And then if they lose it, then they end up with the rest of the day being frustrated because they lost. Like, sports betting only really works for those who always win. Yeah, gambling has some real bad impact on sports, sadly, says Big Rig. Yeah. But, like, you know, some people, they can make a living out of it, and good on them, but I just wouldn't want the stress. Didn't cricket have the big bribery scandal? They did, yeah. I think that's all been sorted now. I think the guy who was in charge of it, I think it was a New Zealander, wasn't it? Wasn't it Lou Vincent? At evening, Hamish, we'll be covering the Women's Rugby World Cup on the channel. Some of the games. Sadly, won't be able to cover too many. We have there, my friend made 10 Rand bet on Japan. For that Brighton Miracle, made 1,000 Rand. He wasn't all that popular at the Bri. Says I Lollipop. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Depending on who your group is in terms of friends, if you say I got the right score, or like I managed to win a bet against, you know, your normal team because you back the other side, then you get that traitor chat as well. Right, second half just about to get underway, ladies and gentlemen. Will there be over 52 points in this game, says Dolph Ziggler. You should possibly, if you are basing it off the wrestler, you'll have to change it to Nick Nemeth now. But I don't know whether we'll be close to that number, to be honest, because these two sides have scored 4 tries, and I do think we'll see a higher scoring second half than the first. We have got there, mate, you have more knowledge and good commentary skills, much better than some professionals, says Regine. I do appreciate it, very much so. And we have got there, I bet 20 cents with some Province to win tonight. Says Bruce. And apologies for leaving. Had to make supper and feed the cats. Got my washing off the line in time. Started raining again, says Roof. Yeah, so it seems like that weather is very much a mystery for your Roof at the moment. But I hope you're doing extremely well, and I hope you did enjoy your snack earlier on with your coffee. Now sitting 22 metres out from the line here, the Western Province in possession. And Roof, Kevin has been looking for you. And also, we have got the last of the big spenders, a defo better than the US and UK commentators for whatever that is worth, says Big Rig. I mean, I'll take it. I will mention sometimes I think I just ramble, but sometimes we do all right, I think. I think these teams, as you said, will not seek threes unless they are ahead, so may hit 52, says Jonathan. Yeah, it just seems like neither one would risk. Well, that's the thing when we get to the end of the game, right? Let's say, for instance, this is the score at 79 minutes and the Sharks have a chance at the post from 40 metres out. Do you take on that kick? You'd have to, wouldn't you? So I feel like if it's close at the end, like maybe they'll be all right. We have got there from Egg Chasers does an interesting thing. He picks a combined side of the two teams playing each other. There's more Springboks than Aussies in the combined team. He predicts a Boks win, says Roger. Okay, so a different way of looking at it, I guess. Although picking a full team is almost more risky than picking a scoreline, isn't it? Because it only takes one guy to do badly out there on the field. And then your whole, in terms of the 50-50s, once again, like the likes of Etzebeth versus Nick Frost, for instance, last week, depending on what you were looking for, will depend on who you backed in that scenario. I think Etzebeth probably got the nod a few more times, but some brilliant line-out steals from Nick Frost there. So it's a trickier way of doing it. It's just pretty much adding more margin for error in terms of guys that could be possibly wrong. We have get there, what do you think is higher quality of rugby, NPC or Currie Cup? Depends on who's playing a little bit. Might have tried a dried mini spinach chili bloody hot, says Fleshin. That's quite the mouthful and probably hurting your mouth at the moment, I would think. And we have got there, focus on this game, will you please, says Vincent. My apologies, Vincent. How silly of me. 41 minutes through, and the Sharks have got themselves the penalty, but now there's a bloke with a pad on his shoulder full of ice, and he's going off the field. So we've actually got a stoppage in this scenario, so there's not much to talk about. Our time of the Springboks game is going to be kicking off at 5:10 p.m. for you guys in South Africa. And we have got there now chewing wine gums. The red and black ones are tasty. And also we have got there, Aussie could slam dunk those Bok tomorrow. Rassi needs a strong coffee. And there are fantasy rugby games, true. And once again, they sometimes can just be a complete lottery. Like at the end of the day, I don't think anything in rugby is for certain. Even a team that gets announced on a Thursday sometimes aren't the team that make their way onto the field on the Saturday. But that's the beauty of rugby. You just don't know what's going to happen. If Australia beat the Boks again, I'll eat my hat. Says Big Rig and Manawatu Turbos could beat the Western Province surely. Oh, it depends. Depends on where they're playing. A little bit, I would say. What do you think? Who wins this game? I think that the Western Province looked stronger in the first half, but they also conceded a couple tries that give the Sharks a good chance in this game. Now off to the right-hand side. Speaking of, the Sharks 5 metres out from the try line. Then will Springboks not play in the World Cup? They are playing in the Female World Cup at the moment. Now off to the right-hand side. Coming back just a little bit further. Bradley David's already onto the field for the Sharks. So decided to make that early switch of Everson off. Now, Corne Ral. Pick and go. Couple metres, although very close to getting that steal there for Paul de Villiers. He's told to get out of it, so lets it go. And now the Sharks, they're right on the line there, and they are over for the try. And they will now take the lead for the first time in this contest. And it is a Muzibuko. Does get the try. A reminder, Western Province have beaten the All Blacks twice. Says, Lollipop there, I think Zane David should play 15s. He does. He plays in the Currie Cup team, or he normally plays in this team. He got himself yellow carded in the first game, but he is actually the captain of the Western Province. We have got the knock my toe against brick in my garden. It's painting idea, never mind, I'll survive. Says Roof there, and Shark says Big Rig. And once World Cup kicking off in 15 minutes, boys and girls. Oh. What has happened here? I think just adjusting that ball for John Smith. Oh, nice. What position does he play? He plays number 6 for the Western Province normally, so on the blind side, or the open side, I guess, the opposite in South Africa. We have got there now the score 19 points to 14 between these two teams. So the Sharks, they only need one more try to get themselves a bonus now. Go like that. 14 points to 19. There we go. Now with the 35 minutes remaining, Savali has been Sharks MVP of the Currie Cup. Says Zach, he's looked all right out on the wing, hasn't he? And like, the thing is, he's got that express pace that if he gets some sort of gap, he can really make the most of it. And I do think that Yako Williams, to be fair to him, out on the wing looks quite dangerous as well for the Sharks. So that combination on the 11 and 14, I think the Sharks have found a little bit of something there. Sharks get him 30, man. Come on. There's Big Rig. Could he make the box if he's still in the picture? Don't think so. I don't think he'll quite get a chance for the Springboks, just with the amount of blind side and open side flankers that they've got at the moment, as well as their number 8s who do cover it. Are you doing England versus USA tonight? I am not, because it overlaps with this game. Now, Bradley Davids off to the right-hand side again. Currently sitting 48 metres out from the try line. Rolling this one back will be Everson. And we have got the Sharks ahead, says Ruth. Oh, advantage over for the initial knock-on. Cross kick attempted by John Smith. Oh, and not the best kick, and it's going to lead to another attacking chance here for the Sharks in the hands of Diego Apollos. And struggling to get it through their hands so far throughout this game. England going to pump. USA won't be much of a match, says Rumit's Razor. And we have got there, Hamish doesn't like American ladies. I don't know where that rumour came from. We've actually covered quite a few USA Sevens games for the woman. I don't actually think I could name too many of this USA women's side outside of the Sevens players, if I'm honest, but I don't mind them. How many metres out are the Sharks? At the moment, they are going to be sitting about 30 metres from the try line. I was getting to see Big Rig Joe. I assume so, but sometimes I have to confirm because that last World Cup, I look back at some of the comments that we got on that one. People didn't like me very much for those women's games. Alona Ma was funny looking, or has funny looking feet. Says it's Razor. Interesting. I've never focused long enough on her feet to know. I wish I can fix you up with a nice American woman, says Bill. America's quite far away though, isn't it? How old is this American woman, Bill? Is this going to be some sort of full setup? Oh, yeah, is there any chance you could even do the second half? Says Vincent. I don't know where I would do it though, because nice inside ball to Sabale. And that's going to be dropped out to the side, picked up by the Western Province. Are so close to scoring, but now it could be a full field opportunity for the counter-attack. Tristan Lades down the middle of the park. Looks like the foot race going to be won by the Western Province, but they're going back for something. Gino Capetto thought he was in, but I don't know what they're going to be going back for now. Looks like it's offside against the Western Province. How did they try, says Pup Cup in there? So it was the try of Mosibuko. They were a couple metres out and then just powering over. With the forwards, is there no BBC iPlayer in New Zealand? Not really. You have to use a VPN to be able to use it. We have got there, so what's with the under-18 international series? Was only South Africa A, England, France, Ireland, and Georgia playing. Does New Zealand and Australia have an equivalent under-18 series? I think they have one in New Zealand. Don't they play the Samoan and Fijian teams and whatnot? I think they do have that. Oh, is the next game of the Air New Zealand Cup? No idea, if I'm honest. We have got there, it's feeling better. Vic's working its magic, says Lilia B. Happy it's feeling better, sorry. Says Lilia, and also we have got the Hamish American ladies eat double portions, need a fat wallet. Says Ruth, jeez, that's a way to offend a whole nation, isn't it, Ruth? American granny at the bowling alley. She wasn't American, I will clarify, or a granny for that matter. We have got the English rugby chicks looking pretty hot and lethal, says Ruth. But now getting ready for the scrum here. They will only be 5 metres out from the try line. And it's going to be the ball for the Western Province. We've got, it's like 6 a.m. in New Zealand, bro. Give them a break, says Big Rig. But now, Skara into Benny. I don't think they'll be too far off making the sub here. I got to admit, I like me some powerful woman. Says Big Rig there. Ready to feed this ball in. Will be Ezekiel Ngobeni. Western Province need to score now, says Ruth. Oh, well, damn, there goes my vacation, says BWL. Oh, free kick goes the way of the Western Province. Although there's still 30 minutes left, BWL, so plenty of time for the Province to come back into it. The Sharks currently have themselves 3 tries, so they'll be chasing that bonus point in this matchup. I would think the Province will be doing the same. Getting ready to kick this one into touch. Oh, doesn't find it, sorry. As it was just a free kick, although he would have been able to. Sabale tries the little chip and has given up possession here. Straight back into the hands of the Western Province. Are you playing Super Rugby Fantasy? I am not, because I'm terrible at predictions, as you know. And you trust Rhea Ripley to defend the homestead. And who do you think is better pies, New Zealand or Australia, says Casey. I feel like that's one that could get me into trouble, but from talking to so many New Zealanders and Australians and having both myself, I would say New Zealand, but Australian pies aren't as bad as people try and make them out to be. But there's something different in the pastry, and we've even had, when we, because my sister's now in Australia, so we went over there, and the pastry isn't as flaky in Australia for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know whether or not it's the temperature that affects it a little bit. We have there, what is that called, says Zach? Yeah, another penalty going the way of the Western Province, just marching their way down the field at the moment. It's going to take a good bit of work, says BWL. And is it raining a lot in Cape Town now? By the sounds of it, it's stop-start and will be more than likely tomorrow as well. Yeah, so Bale, there was a big collision in the air. It actually knocked someone's headgear clean off their head. Scudder into Benny. Ready to throw this ball in again. Nicely taken. Now looking for this rolling maul, sitting about 35 metres out from the try line. Still a bit of work to do for the Western Province. 51 minutes through this game. We better update the score. Are you allowed to play as just a haka sound tomorrow night? Probably not. Even sound gets you copyright struck. But New Zealand, their YouTube channel for the All Blacks, they'll probably have the haka uploaded afterwards. We have their pastry. It has to be light and flaky. French make the best pastry. Belgium as well. And almost time for the first Rugby World Cup 2025 game season on, Mum. There's another mistake there from the Western Province, which will bring the scrum for the Sharks. We have the best pies up here, says Fleshin. Yeah, to be fair, I've seen some decent looking food out of the kind of UK and whatnot. I can't remember what one it is, but there's something that's pastry that looks very nice. You could do an impression of the haka. I could, but people might not like it, because I won't look anywhere near as scary or intimidating as the players do. Bradley Davids ready to put the ball in for scrum time here. The Sharks need one more decent looking food out of the UK. Never heard that before. Says Big Rig. And bro, USA and Canada has the worst pies ever. Says Vroom Vroom, it's Razor, but that's going to be the free kick now on the way of the Sharks. So we haven't had too many successful scrums in this game. Just tuning in, the Sharks looking all right. Western Province just bad. Little bit of both. I think that Western Province throughout that first half also did look all right. They had some good moments, but just, I would say, conceded at the wrong times. And the match, all big knock on from Western Province. Now the Sharks with Bradley Davids going for the kick in behind off his left boot. Trying to get it downfield. Tristan Lades will fire back. How many meters is Strong out? Says Mohadine, at the moment the Sharks are sitting 5 metres from their own line, as that was a deep kick, although in fact it's gone into the in-goal area. Kunini decides he wants to kick it. Looks like he's hurt his knee in the process there. Or maybe even the calf muscle. That looks bad for Kunini. Rather than just putting the ball down and taking the goal line dropout, instead he's tried to boot that one, and his leg looks like it's done now. Oh, yeah, something's gone a little bit wrong there. We have got their War of the Pies, I guess, also tomato sauce or no. See, I don't normally have tomato sauce with my pies, but I don't dislike the people who do. Like, I can understand it. Barbecue sauce, I think more people aren't a fan of. A pasty, says Flesh, and I don't know if it was a pasty. Might have been to be fair, it might have just been a sausage roll. I don't mind a sausage roll. I used to have them more than a pie. I would say Indian food in the UK is great. Second to India, obviously. If you're in the UK, get some Indian meals. And Jez Kunini is bad, says Zach. Yeah, it wasn't his best strike of the ball, definitely because he injured himself in the process. But he focused on the game. Says, Vincent, currently we have got a stoppage because of Kunini getting injured. We did mention about it. And there's probably going to be about a 1 or 2 more minute stoppage for that injury. Muscle tears, a sign of bad conditioning, says Tristan. I think it was just a sign of trying to absolutely whack the ball downfield. And it didn't look like his plant foot was too secure. It almost looked like he may have had a slight slip, which I think might have hurt him a little bit. We have there, Vincent Dude is injured, bro, says Big Rig. Here we are, just waiting for him to either continue in this match or make his way from the field. Looks like he's going to try and continue, is he? In this contest. And sausage rolls with chutney. Mrs. Balls. Mrs. Balls. Is that the name of the brand? We have a Mrs. Max, but is it? So it's Mrs. Balls sausage rolls. Interesting. Is it raining at this game? It's not, but it's very dewy. So because of that, another knock on there from Western Province right on cue. And Bradley Davids. Let's get the chance to kick this one downfield. MotoGP this weekend. And also, ever tried HP sauce or Worcestershire sauce, or Worcestershire sauce, sorry. I've had a little bit of the second, actually in like a meat patty. Us Irish is far ahead of South Africa and New Zealand, as in like time zones, because that one's incorrect. In what regard, Vincent? Mrs. Balls is a brand, it's a staple in South Africa. Mrs. Balls, what else does this ball lady sell? We have there Mrs. Balls. Oh, so she's the chutney lady rather than the sausage roll lady. What have we got that's like, I think we've got like Arnott's or something. It's a brand of chutney. And we have got there, who wins the rugby championship. At the moment, New Zealand are in the box seat. And that is just down to the fact that they won that first game with a bonus point. Australia did too. But I do think that Australia's second game will be very challenging. Nice run from Clever Kanye as they move to now 40 metres out from the try line. Mrs. Balls is Canadian, sadly. And we have Nobby's Nuts and Spotted Dick in the UK. So I can't throw stones, says Big Rig now. Backline movement chance here on the outside. Kunini going to continue, but did look a little bit ginger as he was running on that leg. Corne Ral, 25 metres from the line. Bradley Davids back across to the right-hand side, trying to break through. And good attack and run from John Smith. He's not the biggest player out there, but he's certainly trying to pack a punch, and Haddon knocks it on. They'll go back for the original penalty in favour of the Sharks. This could be the chance for the bonus point try now. I think there was a bit of a conversation there with John Smith. Klakane is such a talent. Hope he comes back to the Sharks after his Lions spell. And also looks like a good crowd for the first Rugby World Cup game, says Novmum. And also we have got, I think I missed a couple. It was flying by very quickly. We have got there about the Nobby Nuts. Well, the brand in first. But that was the time to go for the corner, wasn't it? That was a chance at a bonus point and an extra try ahead of the opposition. Freezing again, says Mohadin. Looks like a little bit of a knee injury here for Riley Norton, the youngster from the under-20 scene. He did do extremely well for the junior box. A world champ. Looks like he's getting a lot of strapping on that leg at the moment. One of the medics was trying to tape up his thigh, and actually Riley Norton said, I'm going to do it myself. At 23 minutes left though, we'll quickly update that clock. Once again, wet, wet, slippery when wet. Bon Jovi, says Ruth. There we go, we'll go like that. Almost 58. How many metres out is the Sharks? It is going to be a line out here. Oh, sorry, it's actually going to be a Western Province kick downfield. So once the Sharks receive this ball, they are about 45 metres out from their own line. Fear the fin, boys. Fear the fin. Here's Casey. And also, as Province struggling again, a little bit. They had some good moments in that first half, but from there, it has gone a little bit downhill for them. And they just seem to have lost that momentum. A Lion should take the Cheetahs, maybe not with difficulty. Lions have won the last 3 versus the Cheetahs. Kick downfield from the Sharks. Your real contest is going to be won by the Western Province. And Oliver Reed managing to claim it. He has made his way off the bench, replacing Kabasilov. And thanks for the summary, Big Rig Josie is sighted. Now, Ngobeni, across to the right-hand side. Western Province, they have been the better side when it came to phase play throughout that first half, getting up to, I believe, 16 at the max. Now running down the wing, chance there with the ball on the inside to Tristan Lades. Ball pops out. There is an advantage now in play. The question is, if the Western Province were in that same scenario as the Sharks were, would they have gone for the 3 as well, or would they have gone for the corner in that case? I think they would have probably kicked for the corner and gone for that little bit of a risk. And maybe peach chutney rubbed all over Antoine Dupont. Could be exciting, I guess for yourself, Ruth, it might be. It's probably quite sticky, I would think. As that chutney would start to kind of, well, chutney's probably sticky in general. I haven't tried rubbing it on someone yet. And big shot there. It's a very good tackle. Or at least it looked to be, until he didn't wrap his arms for Liam van Wyk. And either a close match or a loss for Western Province. But Western Province slipping hard now. Says BWL, but the knock on at the back from John Smith. There's another chance here for the Western Province scrum. It just seems to be each time one of these two sides almost secure the game, they then throw it away with a bad error. Oh, we've got that Hamish sticky when wet. I'm in a fun mood tonight, says Ruth. And also, I'm not that invested in chutney to comment any further, says Cited. Yeah, I do think if that was going to be used, I would prefer something other than chutney, you know. But we won't say what. John Smith struggling under no pressure, says Zach. And don't put us into mourning for another week, and John Smith not that good, says Tristan. Yeah, he did miss that last kick for the Sharks. Van der Hever will make his way onto the field. That is for Van Wyk. Nutella, says Ruth. And Sharks, you could say, have maybe had a 25% improvement every game. Whipped cream, says Ruth. Jeez, you're full of the ideas, aren't you? 2025 Women's World Cup. It's officially underway. Woo, says Big Rig. So the question is, do you want updates on the score of that game, or do you want me to keep it secret so that you guys can watch that game afterwards? Please do, says Lilia. No. The last weekend was rough for South Africa, says BWL. It was, but this weekend, I think it's going to be better. I have it on. Joel Stransky is such an irritating commentator, says Zach. And what's the playing conditions like on this field? Very slippery from the get-go in this contest. It does seem like there have been quite a few unforced errors throughout the match. What about Marmite? Uhira Strider. I've tried Marmite, but not on someone, which I'm not sure whether that was the question or whether it was just the Marmite side of things. But yeah, Marmite's a bit strange. Like, it's an acquired taste, but you can't just have Marmite by itself. You know, the ones who get it on a spoon and go, and then eat it off, that don't work. You got to have it like on toast or on a cracker or something, just to break it up a little bit. I'm guessing lots of handling errors too. Yeah, we've probably seen, I want to say about 10 to 15. Is Cheslin back? He will be back out on the left wing for the upcoming contest. Oh, pick and go there from Mavaseri. Lot of space to work with for the big man, but he just slips over as he made his way up to halfway. But Bradley David's now kicking it in behind, looking for the 50-22. It won't be one, I don't believe. But it's a very good kick in behind. Wait while we try food on people. Says BWL. That's a great question. I don't know where that came. In fact, no, I do. I remember Ruth said she wants to rub chutney on Antoine Dupont, didn't she? We have got there Marmite on someone. Sounds like it should be banned by the Geneva Convention, says Big Rig. And also, I'll just read your mind, it says Lilia. And also, we have there Vegemite and mayonnaise. Ooh. Is it like, wait, together? Or like separate? Because separate, maybe, but together, I don't know about that. It could be a bit of a weird sauce. Maybe you could do something with it. I think England might score soon. Says, no, Mum, you're cracking me up tonight, says Yuri. We're definitely more unfiltered on this live stream than normal. It's normally the late night ones that the weirdness does come out. But the games tomorrow, they are going to be also in the middle of the night, so be sure to tune in for that. It's a horrible combination. You need to see a doctor about that, says Cited. Yeah, I'm trying to work out a way that it would be good, and I'm imagining like the saltiness of the Vegemite. I'm thinking like, you know how people make like Big Mac sauce? Like maybe if you had the right meat with it. No, I don't like either of them by themselves though, so I'm not defending Vegemite and mayonnaise at all. But maybe there's a world where you can find a combo that it's not awful. Now, Bradley Davis off to the left-hand side. This is a big chance for the Sharks. They head towards the bonus point. Sabale cuts back inwards, but doesn't go for the pass. Now had him with the pick and go. That was close to offside for Tristan Lades. Now, only 2 meters out from the try line. Chance here for the Sharks. Looks like the tight head will throw himself at the line once more. No Lebok, no win. Says Douglas there. Now, that looked like it was a drop ball, and they're going to have to check this one. I'm so excited for Sabale and the URC. Says Zach there, 6 international games tomorrow. That's a lot even for me, says Big Rig. And no more Pinkay or Keita, says Zach, and come on the Sharkies, says Jimbo. But I want the USA to win this game, says Novmum. Is that so that New Zealand have less chance of facing England by chance, Novmum? And loads of games tomorrow, says Big Rig. Yeah, there's plenty going on in the world of rugby at this point in time. Tomorrow we are going to have the 2 live streams. In fact, I guess if you count today, we've also hopefully got that game of the Pacific Nations Cup between Tonga and Samoa. They are just checking for a knock-on here. Oh, that's a tricky one because there's no denying there's a little bit of a handling error, you know. But he juggles it and it doesn't actually leave the grasp. So does that mean it's all right? In that scenario, it's kind of, but it did touch the ground. So it's a tricky one. This one could be 50-50 as a South African. I really want us to go back to Super Rugby. Says Tristan. I feel like Tonga and Samoa will be an easy one for Samoa, says BWL. And this one, so he has possession of the ball. He does kind of, it's not even a drop on the ground. It's more so it slips a little bit still in his hands on the ground. So I don't know whether this will count or not. I think this is all down to the TMO and what he's deciding on the day. But we're about to find out. They will look at it many times. It's about as close to a knock-on, but close to not a knock-on as you can get. Like it touches the ground, but it's still in both hands. Wouldn't be a rugby game without a controversial call. That could go either way. Okay. Both commentators have said they'll remain neutral for this one. Okay. There's no clear evidence that he dropped it, so that will be the try. And now the Sharks have the bonus point. With only the 17 minutes remaining, that is a massive moment, but it is the big man Klakane who does end up scoring it. And that may just about secure this game now, although it's still early days. Try, says Tristan. And also we have got there about 14-0 down. Great response from the Sharks. Yeah, they've done extremely well to come back from where they were. Samoa 13+, says Nars Williams. I think the time zones, or I don't think the time zones will work anymore. The travel is too intense, especially heading that way into the time zone. It affects the body more than coming back this way. Says Cited. Yeah, very nicely done by the Sharks. The kick did strike it relatively well. Does get it over as well. 26 points to 14 now the score. Moving up to the halfway line, the Western Province. Now in this scenario, they need 2 tries just to save face and get the bonus point of their own. In fact, that would give them 2. And England tried, first score of the World Cup. Says Big Rig. And yeah, it was scored by Kabea. Did Western force any scores second half? Western Province, not yet. Still sitting on the 14. Maveseri, he's been taken off the field for Putgaita. And WP fumbling hard now. And also the Sharks with the muscle from Lilia. Little kick in behind, attempted by Tristan Lades. The control from the back in this game just hasn't quite been there. In this match, it would seem, for the Western Province. Kick downfield from John Smith. And now for the Sharks. Can they keep this lead? Can they secure this game? They have had times where they've been leading in this Carling Currie Cup in terms of their matches, and then they've let it slip. But at this point in time, it's not looking too bad. We've still got one tour per year. Maybe two if you get to playoffs and a season. South African teams had like 4 European tours, which is harder on the body, says Tristan. To be fair, it's pretty hard to control a shark, says Big Rig. It is. Definitely if it's a big shark. Now sitting 48 metres out from the line. It's a lot easier flying up north by miles, says Sighted. Oh, strip ball there for the Western Province. Taking it back, it will be Ollie Reid. That was an offload that didn't have to happen, but the Western Province have done very well to be able to regather. Now back across Moose. A 2-man tackle round the halfway line. And no slipping today, please, says Lilia B. And now nicely taken. Yes, I managed to make it down that hill the other day without falling down it. So that was a massive bonus. Nice run from Tristan Lades, who will break the line. And this has to be close to a chance of a try. Tristan Lades with the pace and just short of the line by 1 metre. Pick and go. 1 metre out from the line. Bradley David's probably close to being offside there, but the ball's still on the side of the Western Province. Oh, that's close, but might be held up there for the Western Province 19. They're checking, and I think they're going to go upstairs, see if NATAL has got that one down. Western Province really tried playing in slippers in this one. Says BWL. Oh, looks like, that's an ugly injury for Corne Ral too. Looks like his knee is struggling. That might be the last of him that we see in this contest. He was actually an original replacement for someone else who was injured. Is Western Province on a mission? Finding new and exciting ways to lose a match these days. Seems like they're on a mission this past year and a bit. Yeah, see, that's where Tristan Lades needed to not get goal line fever and pass to his teammate. But unfortunately, he did decide that he wanted to go for the glory himself. The try opportunity now gone for this Western Province team. And it may be a goal line dropout. I think they're going to be checking to see whether or not it was held up, which I think it was. But Corne Ral, it looked like his knee just got stuck under the breakdown in the wrong way. Slipping, sliding away. There's a song with those words. Says Ruth. And Lilia Hamish is simply unstoppable and heart-stopping, isn't he? Says Ruth. Oh, green whistles come out for Corne Ral, which does mean this is going to be a relatively hefty stoppage. So he looks like he is in quite a lot of discomfort. He's not doing too well, so they've said have a bit more of your green whistle. And what that will do is make him feel like he's on cloud 9. We have there, Ruth, my pommy lady, how are you? Says Kevin there. Right, like they are saying, the URC side may be going to get a little bit more readjusted with the amount of injuries that we've already seen. But 66 minutes through in this contest, so another 14 minutes remaining. Here's indeed, says Lilia. And also we have got the OK people. Hit the likes button, please, and subscribe to Kiwi Lads. Awesome commentary, thanks. Says Ruth. And yeah, we are going to be back for the matches tomorrow with the Rugby Championship, so be sure to check those out as well. But yeah, it will be very intriguing. See what happens for tomorrow's contest. Whether or not the South Africans can fire back from what was a bit of a lackluster type of game, or whether Australia can somehow make it 2 from 2. Not good for the Sharks. We are already so short on quality locks, says Tristan. And we have got their 10 points difference. Is the gap too much to close it in? I don't think so. I think that if the Western Province get it right here, you know, they have got a decent chance of getting back into this game, but they just needed that try to be scored or one little moment to go right for them. I'm happy to step closer to heaven, says Kevin there. Yeah, looks like he's going to be down for a little bit more time, Corne Ral. They gave us too much in my opinion, but anything is possible, says BWL. Yeah, I think one big try will change this game completely. And yeah, it's intriguing because the Western Province, it's not like they haven't had their chances. You know, in that case, Tristan Lays, if he had just found that pass somewhere, could have made the difference, but wasn't quite able to. Anything is possible tomorrow. Our Box have the capacity to eke out an amazing loss on the cusp of a win. See it cited there. That's true. Like, the thing is, they were up 22-0. And, of course, we'll talk about it in the preview of that match a little bit. They are actually just showing the picture for it of the Springboks versus Australia game. But, yeah, it was such a weird game. And that word's going to be thrown around quite a bit tomorrow as well, because it just was. To go from 22-0, sorry, I'm going on about it, and that will really annoy people, I think. But it was just confusing. They are just asking the commentators whether or not the bounce back is on the cards. Western Province needs some All Blacks wisdom. Make a comeback in the second half type stuff to make this, and they're going to come out swinging tomorrow. See, it's big rig, and yeah, with all the locks that they've got, it's very intriguing. And, you know, are we going to see those midfield lineouts attempted? We saw it once, and now we got over it like by Sunday. It was necessary, says cited, and also those Aussies are pretty heavyweight, beefy. Yeah, no Harry Wilson for the Aussies, I think, is a little bit of a concern, but they have now got Rob Valentini returning, so that should help them. We have got their Big Joe Boxer having spinach tonight. Is that good? Like as in, like, so that they're like Popeye and they'll be all big and strong, right? Or have I missed what you mean? We have got there, so that's what he needed the binoculars for, says Lilia. Wait, what? Wait, for the big and hefty Australians? Oh, no. Never mind. We've got Kevin found me somewhere between Pluto and Neptune. Woo. Says Rupert now making him, driving him off the field, I should say. And you can just see how wet it is out there when you see the tyres of the cart. Like, they are pretty much drenched now just from driving a little distance. Hamish, you got it right. And Boxer Popeye, Australia are Bluto. See, I haven't actually seen Popeye. All I know is he eats a bit of spinach. Last week, Australia just took olive oil, and now Popeye is mad. Now we have got there lots of locks. Is that the key to winning? I think it's the key to them having a bit more of a successful line-out, as long as it's not the case of too many of a good thing. Because last week, their line-outs were only 69% for the South Africans, which was one of the lower numbers we have seen from the box in quite some time. That stash, that is Nick White, will be super tough to control. We don't have Fuff to flick him into submission. Now going off to the right-hand side. Chance here for the Western Province, running it sideways at the moment for Damien Marcus. One of his first big carries in this match. I should mention England have just scored again in the Women's World Cup too. Box need Brandy to take the win tomorrow. Says BLW, or other way around, BWL. Now under penalty advantage, drop ball, picked up. They've said it's gone backwards. It will be the try, but I feel like they'll check that, because I think that might have been a knock-on from the Western Province, so I might not add the try just yet, as I do think they need to check it. We'll get another try for 12, or for England, 12-0 kickoff, or kick to come, sorry. Popeye never lost when he played rugby ever. I didn't even know that Popeye played rugby. England Lucy, great try. Says Jimbo, and want to try Western Province. It's close to one. I think it's just whether or not there was that knock-on, which I think has been cleared. So it does mean now the score, this kick goes over. Ronald Brown, actually the kick taker in this one. Only sitting 26-19 if this kick goes over, which it does. Sits now 26-21. Both sides well and truly have a chance at the bonus point here if the Western Province got themselves one more try. I wonder if these two sides are just going to have a draw, now that I think about it. I know that both of them have struggled throughout this season, but a draw maybe would be fitting with where they sit and how the season's kind of gone. Like, Western Province, it's their first try of the second half, and I have a feeling it may not be their last. Now kicked off long, taken by Western Province. Oh, big shot coming in on Brandon Fenter. And spinach is rubbish, high in oxalates, not good, says Bruce. That's going to be the penalty. got some iron in it though, doesn't it? That's ideal. That's going to be against Van der Heever. Does get penalised. Don't forget to smack that like button, please, and subscribe to the Kiwi Lads Rockin' Commentary. Says Ruth. And a draw is possible, but rare, says BWL. It is rare, although if the Western Province get a try and miss a kick, it's exactly where we will be sitting in this one. But yeah, Van der Heever just not releasing their high aim, which says, Ryan, welcome in. I hope you're doing extremely well. And hope you are excited for those games tomorrow. Come on, Sharks, score. Don't make me a liar, says Big Rig. 8 spinach once. Still waiting for my muscles. Excited. Now, up to the halfway line for the Western Province. Van der Heever's discipline quite bad, says Tristan. And it could end up costing the Sharks here later on in the game if there are 1 or 2 more penalties against them. I think if you're the Sharks, though, they'll look for 3 points if it's available. Imagine if rugby had as many 0-0 games as football, says Big Rig. I think that, penalty goes the way of the Sharks. If we had more 0-0 games, though, and it was as often as football, people wouldn't be too mad about it, if that makes sense. Like, people wouldn't enjoy seeing no try score, but you'd become accepting of it if it happened often enough. Does that make sense? And can't believe the Sharks are in front, says Xander. I guess as iron, but not as bioavailable as meat products, says Bruce. And pork bangers are Irish, says Ruth. And we have got there as well. Did you hear the music? You don't get muscles unless you hear the music, says Big Rig. Oh, is that John Plumtree watching on for this game? Yes, it is. In the stands trying to blend him, but now, of course, the camera has shown him there, and they've even shown the seat number. Wonder if he'll get any visitors from concerned Shark supporters. We have got there, how about prawns cooked in olive oil with garlic and dried chilies with a baguette? See, I'm quite fussy, and as good as I imagine that would look and probably taste, I probably wouldn't eat it, because I don't think I'd like prawns. I haven't had them, so I don't really know, but yeah, I'm not much of a seafood guy. Now, counter ruck coming from the Sharks. Oh, that's a good one too. Ball should be on the side of the home team. Oh, that's how to break a kneecap real quick, the way that one went sideways. And come on, USA. Oh, they were so close. If the scores were 0-0 very often, I'll not be watching or following. And also, Hamish Prawns are formidable. Oh, nicely taken at the back from the Western Province. Now looking for the counter-attack. Tristan Lades, no option but to kick when 5 metres out from the line. And we have got the muscle from Brussels, Jean-Claude Van Damme. And also flesh in that sounds heavenly, says Ruth. You see, I feel like if I was to be in a scenario with that, I would rather cook it for someone than eat it myself. Is that weird to say? Like, because I feel like it would be wasted on me to eat it if I was still fussy. So I'd rather cook it for someone who actually would like to eat it and then just have something different. You've never eaten prawns. My Portuguese heart just skipped a beat, says Lilia B. And it was a clever little kick from the USA gal. But it amounted to nothing, says Big Rig. Yeah, see, I haven't had prawns. I haven't had mussels. What else is a seafood? Shrimp. I haven't had shrimp. I'm a very boring person. So off to the left-hand side. Oh, in fact, that time it was right little kick off the outside of the boot. Well claimed, but advantage was already being played. And we'll go like this. And like that as well. 73 minutes remaining. And this is a nice, easy kick out in front of the post here for the Sharks. I wish no, you are right, says Kevin there. And Sharks should go top poles and seal the win. And that looks like exactly what they want to do. They'll try and use up as much of this minute that is allowed as they can. For John Smith, it would take it outside of that 7-point margin, which then brings one extra Western Province try and a bonus point. That is what they would require to get themselves the 2. We have got there 73 minutes remaining. Wild score. Sorry, my apologies. 73 minutes gone. And there's one. Amish not a seafood lover. Only thing he eats that comes out of water is a boiled egg. Says Bruce. Yeah, I don't really eat too many of those either, to be fair. That kick's going to go over for John Smith, though. 29 points to 21. We'll update that score. That's a lead by 8. This is closing in on the potential first win of the season for the Sharks side. Try USA. Says Nov Mum there. And got to text these big rig. And also, what about fish fingers? I'm not a fan of fish fingers. Like, I don't mind them. But, yeah. I don't know. Fish for me, it's a love-hate relationship. But some fish is all right. But funny enough, the opposite is also true. If the scores were too high, I would get annoyed by the consistent bad defense, says Xander. That is true. I know that some people don't watch the Japanese top league for that exact reason, because the scores are, normally about 100 points a game. Give me a juicy steak any day of the week. See you cited. And I need one more score for the over 52 points, says Dolph. It's going to be tricky. 6 minutes left. I don't think the Sharks will be in a massive hurry to try and score, seeing as they have got themselves the bonus point already. But I do think Western Province will give it a fair old crack to try and get the last, as they could get 2 points from this game rather than 0. You just throw it in, though. It will be Buckies taken by Endao, and now attack and run forward from the replacement hooker. 25 metres from the line. Fish me, or fish for me, is a hate-hate relationship. Steak and chicken for the win, says Xander. That's a knock-on from the Western Province. Lost forward initially, so it will be the scrum now for the Sharks. Looks like my prediction was way off, says BWL. And they didn't get 30, says Big Rig. They got 29, though. They were close. And lamb chops and spicy rice. How does one make rice spicy? I'd assume you'd add a bit of chili. See, I'm, once again, quite boring. I just have plain white rice normally. I need to start mixing up my food options, I think. Start getting a bit more creative. You eat fried calamari? No, I've never had calamari. Also haven't had crab. You had spice, Hamish, says Big Rig. I was more so meaning which spices, to be fair. The standard South African braai is our go-to to meal, says cited. Well, we're going to the far side of the field. I think that is due to an injury for Brendan Fenter. I think they are just checking. Yellow card for the USA. Not ideal if they get one. And okay, it's a shame they are good. Says Flesh in there. Now just the 4.5 minutes. You are kosher in more ways than one. And Kevin, I'm pretty crazy and very sympathetic. Sponge soaks up others' emotions, says Ruth. There we go. 76 minutes through in this match, but another injury that they are just dealing with. There's been quite a few in this game for both sides. Already seen Corne Ral have to be stretchered off the field. He was replacing a man in the starting lineup. Yeah, yellow card, USA 12. Says Nom Mum there. And meat, says cited. That's another thing. I've got to try biltong again at some point. And stuff that hasn't been in the mail or like in a box in a courier van for like 3 days. Because that was what happened last time and it wasn't the best. Bread is nice, Hamish. It's made from dough, says Craig. And Kelter Yellow Silly Girl, says Jimbo. She gets a few of those in the 7s too, doesn't she? Kelter, to be fair. And please score Western Province and USA being naughty, says Big Rig Joe. And now it will be the scrum feed for this scrum of the Sharks. Bradley Davids has actually controlled this game quite nicely off the bench. Thanks for all the fun tonight, Hamish. We'll be back tomorrow night for the AB's game. Remember my score prediction. Box 15, Australia 16. Cheers, says Yuri. So we will see you later on. And going back to betting on tennis after this, says BWL. And the more you drink, the less the quality of the meat on the brine matters. And if you have Indian dishes, you will be on fire, says Rajin. See, I normally have, if I have something of Indian cuisine, it would be a butter chicken, but I get it mild because I can't handle spice whatsoever. I mean, you guys have seen how fast my face changes colour. I'm kind of a chameleon. But, like, spice, I think I turn bright red as well, probably. Now ready to throw this one in. Luca Bacchius. This is getting towards the last chance. Hamish strikes me as a korma guy. I haven't really had too many chicken kormas. I just go butter chicken, and that's my main one, really. Butter chicken, says Fleshin. And we had nice Springbok Boros. Borrivos, last weekend, and he bought some. And one day when you pop to the shops, check out the spice aisle. They should have some spice for rice. Even some veggie spice inside it. And come on, the Stormer, says Christo. And now backline murmur. That slapped down by the Sharks. It will be a deliberate knockdown, not a yellow card. A chicken stir fry with cashew nuts. And England turning on the pain, says Jimbo. That one's going to go into touch. So far, that scoreline between England and USA doesn't look awful, though. In terms of, anything less than 50 would be great. We over there came in a bit late, whereas the Women's Rugby World Cup commentary says Unco. So we are hoping to do the occasional game. I've mentioned it a few times, but the problem with the Women's World Cup is the amount of overlaps that it has with the international games of the Rugby Championship, which is a competition we've covered on the channel for multiple years. So, I can't really win either way, but I have tried to organise someone to do a couple World Cup games for me, but that's not really working out. So I want to still do the occasional game. It might be 1 or 2 games a weekend, depending on the overlaps. But yeah, unfortunately, just the tournament taking place at the wrong time, or more so in the wrong place. If it was on a New Zealand time schedule, it would work perfectly because there aren't many games on at, let's say, 7 p.m. New Zealand time or 7 or 9:35 p.m. New Zealand time. So it will only really be once we get into the stages of New Zealand and Australia playing in New Zealand and Australia that those games won't overlap as much. Still early days, and USA had 2 attacks and both were decent, says Big Rick. We have got there, have you ever been dared to eat a whole chili pepper? I have not, no. Probably that's quite good, though. 90 seconds remaining, the Sharks will kick this one into touch again. Making sure that that one goes fully into touch for Smith, just using up as many seconds as I can. What I don't understand is how the whole world is... Oh, we probably shouldn't read that one out. We have got there the Tika guy in my area is so bloody good. He has it ready for you before you even made payment, says Cited. Now, Thunder Hever, ready to throw this one in. And we have got Tika chicken is always good. I have some once a week. We've got some fantastic Tika places in the area. Now, carrying it forward, Buck, yes. Bradley Davids looks like he might be down with some sort of injury, but now the last 30 seconds of this game, chance here for one last attacking opportunity for the Western Province, who will look to shift it away to the side, but again the ball is dropped. There's a knock-on, though, from the Sharks. Counter-attack on the cards for the Western Province. They are still inside of their own half and close to the sideline. Advantages now over. Another offload coming in. They have to go 45 metres if they were to get themselves the victory here. And it's another loose ball picked up by the Sharks. All they would have to do is kick this one into touch. And that should just about be the game. They've kicked it in behind, but they haven't managed to find touch with it. But it sounds like we are going back for something here. Oh, Bradley Davids does not look good, by the way. He is still down at the moment. But it is going back for the original penalty in favour of the Sharks. And by all, thank you, Hamish. Says Kevin, you're a fellow sheep shagger. Surely you've had a lamb curry, not a salad one. That's for Grant, says Fleishan. No, I haven't actually had a lamb curry before. I'm very boring, like I said, when it comes to food. I have to broaden my horizons at some point. But that is the end of the game, and the Sharks will get themselves their first win of their Currie Cup season. Maybe a little bit too little, too late when it comes to the playoffs. But if they get 2 more wins in a row, perhaps they can get that little bit closer to the chance. We have got there, damn it, I was close. I really thought Sharkies boys would get 30 and win. Good night, all. Thanks again, Hamish, says Bruce. So the next one that we are going to have coming up will be the Pacific Nations Cup. Hoping to do that game between Tonga and Samoa also in about an hour and a half time. There will be a preview going out on the channel for Argentina versus New Zealand. The South Africa versus Australia preview is already up on the channel, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, we will see you later on. Currie Cup for now, up until around 2 days' time. We aren't going to be doing any more, but in the near future, we've got the Bulls taking on the Requas as well. USA defending wildly right on the line, says Big Rig. And Emmett England scored against his non-mum and also Western Province. Getting a stern talking to after the game. They actually won, says Lilia B. They certainly did themselves the big victory here and the bonus points. So they will move up to 6 points now on the standings. So very nicely done for the Sharks. But thank you all very much for being here, and I will see you all for the next one.